Hello and welcome to race 2 of the Winter League. This race tonight is the London Classique route, a popular one and most riders have ridden this I think a few times by now. 38.4 kilometres long. That consists of a 5.7 kilometre lead in and 6 laps of 5.4 kilometres long. Riders start out towards the Tower of London and then follow the route first used in the Ride London Prudential Classic of the same name. Total of 26 riders from BCC tonight. Three at the moment in Category A. A huge field in Cat B, 16 riders in total. Only 2 riders in Category C. And surprisingly 4 riders in Cat D, actually doubling up on the number of riders in Cat C. So that would be nice to see a new entry in Cat D. Cullen joins us tonight as his first race on Zwift, so we'll be watching him closely to see how well he does. So riders, this is, as I say, second race of the Winter League, and everything to fight for tonight. The B race was very hotly contested with a win from Lancia on Monday night. Managed to do that in a great sprint towards the end of that race, and was second, I think, was Davis and Campbell, both on the same time, but 1 second behind Davis. And Charles was, Charles was on the same time as well, 41.21. So Charles is storming up the field, and I suspect, I predict that in due course, maybe not that too far away, he will outpace both Campbell and Davis and potentially Lancia as well. So there'll be no pressure on you, but it will be good to see someone knock Davis off his perch, although Lancia does manage to do that occasionally. But of course Davis enters every race and not everyone else does, so he tends to stay towards the top of the league. So good luck in that battle. Further down the field in Category C, that was, I think, from BCC. Yes, that was won by Littlewood, and a great first performance from Reed, coming in 9th place, and Nixon just behind him in 10th. And let's not forget Telford managed to pick up a silver cup in Category D, so a great ride from him as well. I think most of the Ds in that race were disqualified, which I think happens fairly often, so he's a good solid rider in Category D. So riders to look out for tonight, of course, Lancia as always. Campbell continues to get stronger and stronger. Davis is hanging on in there. I think he thought he'd maybe won last week's race, but just as I mentioned earlier, got beaten right on the line. In the A's, Tom was the winner from last week. Stoneham dropped out halfway through, had a laptop problem, battery died, and off he went. I'm not sure if he's racing tonight yet. I haven't seen him on the list. Jury had a great performance as well, coming in 11th overall in the A's. Second from BCC. She was followed by Lisa and followed by Alexis Brown and then Lisa, 4th and 5th positions. So 37 seconds before the start of the race this evening, we are starting with the Category B riders. Clearly that's where the field is, with 17 riders, I think. That might be including me, but 16 riders anyway. A total of 74 in Category B, 106 I think overall. See how that changes when it gets going. So I will try. This is a multi-lap race, of course, 6 laps. It will be a bit frantic and furious. It should suit the larger riders. And 2 seconds, and here we go. Oh, and Rob Dames is back on Zwift. In fact, he's swept. Oh, an unbelievable start from him. Off he goes, straight into first place. Has pulled out a second already. I think we'll just watch him for a minute. There's the Tower of London. This is the start point. They turn right here and head towards central London and the West End. Well, I'll be amazed if he holds on to this. And oh no, someone else fancies their chances already. I think that's just the way Rob's starting now. I don't expect him to deliberately sit up the front. And Lancia is just there as well. We'll have a look at Lancia. I can click on him. There he is. So Lancia is right up the front as well with the A's. In fact, I can't see any other Bs. So there's one B just behind him, but no others close by at this stage. But of course, this is the first few minutes. Lancia is at 440 watts. I think his FTP is around 311, something of that nature. Average is around 311 per race. So for the first 2-3 minutes, this is what it's going to be like. Davis, I can see there, has moved right up the field. Danes has drifted back. Charles is in there as well. So everyone together at this stage, and all categories have started together. No staggered start. There is Campbell in the field. Civito's in there as well. He didn't race particularly well on Monday. Not sure what was going on there. I can't see him on the finishing list. Oh, he is there, yes, in 40th position. I'd certainly expect him to be quite well up the field. Ketley's in there too. He dropped off pretty quickly last race, and then held the middle of the field for the rest of the race. Blackham's back in the mix again. He's certainly capable of quite a bit. I expect him to do well. James is dropping back through the field. O'Brien looks as if he's about to drop off the back, along with Langan just a couple of seconds behind him. Lisa's back down through the B field already, and I saw there, where is it? There he is, Irfan Khalik. You can see now, looking ahead, just as they go through the underpass. Is that the A11 above them? I'm not sure. As they go through the underpass, it can't be actually, we're coming into the embankment now. Irfan back in the racing, raced on Monday night. Just having a quick look to see where he comes in the field. Came in the field, 20th position, just ahead of Ketley and Langan. Mayhew Smith in this group as well. He didn't have a great race on Monday. I think he said he might have been suffering from a few too many Christmas pies. Nixon in there as well, first of the C riders, so he's pushing hard and is well up the field. Not sure if you'll hold this. Now there's Brown dropped back from the A's, Hindley as well. So it's at this stage already, there's a great shot there, 2, 3, 4, about 5 different groups beginning to stretch out. Tauf has got a green jersey. And I'll just move back as Jury, a bit further back than I'd expect him to be. Maybe just didn't quite manage to hang on at the start. Haven't seen Shannon yet. I think he's in tonight's race. I'm sure he is. Yes, he is. There, back there is Shannon, just on the bottom of the screen. And Littlewood racing in category C. That's a bit odd that had him entered as category B, but in category C, had a great performance so far from him, ahead of Shannon at this stage. This is a fast and furious race, as I mentioned, I think earlier on, largely flat. There's a couple of little ramps coming up towards Trafalgar Square. It's an opportunity to attack, but there are no hills really. Peter Jones. I'd like to have a look at the D's. There's Rob Jones. Camden's dropped all the way back through the field from the B's through the C's, and now is with the D's. Morton and Telford. And there is Cullen in his debut performance at 1.8 watts per kilo. Shouldn't be sitting on the front. There's quite a group with him. 4 or 5 riders. He needs to sit on the back and just relax, get used to riding on Zwift. He has now completed 3 kilometers, still on the lead-in section on the embankment here. So let's move right up to the front, see what's happening. I think that is the Flamme Rouge coming up on the course ahead. I'm sure that is. Not obviously at this stage, it's not the last kilometre, but that's an important point for riders. They go through the Flamme Rouge. Davis, Charles, Lance here, all in this group of riders here. And this is still the front of the field. Charles at number 2 out of 182 riders at the moment. Blackham's in there as well at 5.3 kilometres. They are now entering into the first lap under Admiralty Arch up towards the finish line and Buckingham Palace. There is the finish line ahead. This is a long sprint for those that haven't done it before. I think most of the riders tonight know that, of course. It's a good sort of 500 metres from Admiralty Arch up to the finish line. Well, I've noticed James is actually riding in Category A at about time too. He's certainly capable of it. So this is Group 1. A's and B's intermixed. BCC A's and B's all together here. Blackham, Davis, Tom, James, Empson. He's been riding well recently. I think was 4th BCC rider on Monday night's race in Category B. Just count them up now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5th rider. Now this group looks as if they are pulling away, and that is evident on the times. This is the first rider behind that group. Looks as if he's trying to make a breakaway there. And leading that group 2, Civitar. Mayhew Smith is in there, O'Brien. Lisa's in the group as well. And they're now about 14, no, it must be more than that. Times just update. About 26 seconds behind this, the first group in tonight's race at 7.1 kilometres, 8 minutes 54 seconds now in lap 1 at 43 kilometres per hour. And with Ensign heart rate 157, watts around 270. He's been averaging recently around 280, so he's holding a comfortable, if one can call it that, in a racing sense position. That heart rate is let's have a look. Just a fraction below his average. Still riding well. So if these riders now all stay together, I don't think they all will, but it is possible. Of course, it will come down to a sprint finish at the end. I suspect there will be a couple of attacks, short ones, of course, on the hill up towards Trafalgar Square. And if I remember correctly, Blackham's done very well in this race before. I've watched him take charge of that sprint section, or that hill I should say. Charles at 304, 305 watts. Certainly above his average, still above his average. Typical average for him around 280. So he is pushing quite hard. A little bit down on heart rate, but he has more to give. So this is Group 2. Blackham in there as well. Here he is in fact. As they approach Trafalgar Square, here is that little ramp. It's short, but it does go up to 6%, enough to make a difference. Nelson's column coming into view, and on this lap I think, do they turn left? Soon find out. Nope, going right. Next time they come around, they'll turn left at that point. So it looks as if that small ramp has stretched the group out slightly. Maybe nothing to worry about at this stage, but this is a likely spot for riders to get dropped. About to do the 180-degree bend, then under the Flamme Rouge. Colm, I can see on the screen, still up towards the front. Davis is in there. Let's see, just check everyone else is still there. Blackham as well. Charles, Tom, so as always the question is, are the B riders riding faster than their category, or just making a huge effort here? Are the A riders perhaps riding a little bit slower than they normally do or should do? Time will tell, I think. Baines is still in this group as well, following his glory out of the start gate, and that initial but short-lived lead. There he is. And it looks as if a couple of riders are trying to push ahead. So it is beginning to stretch out slightly. We'll come back. Enson's still in there towards the back of the group. In a good position to be in. Nothing to worry about as long as he doesn't let the front get too far away. Then it becomes a very difficult task to catch up. Campbell in the group as well. Sprint times coming up on the left hand side of the screen. I don't think anyone's really sprinting it, so those are all nominal numbers really. Lance is still in here, and then that Lance here has dropped off. What's happened with Lance here? 30 seconds behind the leading group now. Sorry, the times are just updating again. Yes, about 30 seconds, 35 seconds. This is unusual. This is a course that really should suit him quite well. It's the right size and shape to take advantage of these long flat sections, has the power to make the short climb. You can only guess that something's going wrong. In fact, he is drifting back towards O'Brien, Mayhew, Smith, Khalid, and that they can now see Lance here just ahead. That'll be good incentive for them. This is Group 2 on the course at 12 kilometres. Civica is in that group as well. Nancy has now been consumed by that chasing pack. Langen, haven't spotted him earlier, but he is here, and Ketley's in there too. Looks as if Brown, Taft is, I was going to say, has dropped off the back of that group, but let me just wait for Zwift to update itself again. Richard Hindley, 270, 290 watts, 308 watts. Nixon is here. Oh, this is very unusual. So we haven't. No, again, that's Wick. Keeps changing the times of the gaps. Let's move forward again and just double check. There is Nixon. He'll be pleased with himself, riding with the Cafe rider, Brown. So, is Brown going slower than he normally does? Not at 280 watts, I don't think so. Is Nixon going faster than he normally does? 146 watts, 190 watts. Where I'd expect him to be. Hindley, Taft, Nixon, Brown. So this is group 3 overall. So Nixon is riding exceptionally well at the moment. It's all not down to just power and output. There are tactics involved, and being able to stay with the group, conserve energy on the back is all important, and can make the difference between winning and losing, or doing well and not. Nixon seems to have mastered that in this case. A quick look further back, see how Littlewood's doing. Littlewood, Shannon together. Jury is that's a surprise to see Jury down here. He normally has a good go at the start. I wonder if something's happened to him or his setup. Littlewood's riding well. Shannon I'd expect to be a bit further up as well, actually. But Littlewood is riding where I'd expect him to be, so he's riding nicely. Shannon riding a bit less than I'd expect, and Jury power numbers say he's doing what he should be doing, but I suspect he lost a group towards the start, and has now made the probably sensible decision of staying with this group for now, conserve some energy, push ahead later. So it's all mixed up. The groups A's, B's, C's, to an extent, are all intermixed with each other. Peter Jones just moving back through the field. Just he and one other at this stage. And I saw Morton there, briefly. Tamsin. He's about 20 seconds behind Jones. So normally she rides a bit quicker than this. 170 watts. Rob Jones with Morton and Telford by the looks of it. So Jones and Telford have had a couple of great battles. in recent weeks. And this group is at 12.7 kilometers on lap 1 still. And there is Cullen at 11 kilometers, 106 watts, 112 watts. I know he can go faster than that, and you can see his heartbeats at 120, 121. Would really expect it to be around 150, 155. So you need to make more effort, Gavin. And he's just been left by that rider that was riding with him. That wasn't very nice. Perhaps that rider was going for a sprint. And this is the rider behind Cullen, who's going to catch him at the moment. But don't forget, this is Cullen's first race. It comes as a bit of a shock to everyone to discover what it's like and how quickly you can go backwards. So we'll come back to him a little bit later in the field. And we'll just go backwards now, or forwards, to the front of the race at 17.3 kilometres into lap 2 around Buckingham Palace. And do we have all the BCC riders together? Let's have a look and see if I capture them. Blackham and Tom together. Campbell, Empson. I'm sure the others are here as well. Just in case of trying to click on someone on the right hand side of the screen. That didn't help. Davis. So Davis, Charles, Empson, Campbell, Tom, Blackham. Have I left anyone out? I have, apologies. But at 18.1 kilometres, 22 minutes in, just about halfway, these riders are doing well. James, not a BCC rider, but an ex-BCC rider. About 25 riders in that group, and that looks like group 2 coming up behind them on the other side of the road. So the pace has obviously settled from the start, but has come down a little, I think. Riders will be thinking about the remaining 20 or 18 kilometres roughly. I've forgotten how long it is. 38.4. It would be great to see a break from someone. Maybe this lot prefer the bunch sprint. But you really have to know what you're doing if you leave a race to a bunch sprint. I'm just looking for the second group on the course, but it's proving difficult to actually get there at the moment. It's simply because the different categories begin to get lapped, so trying to click on one rider drops the viewing experience or the who I can follow from one group to the next. Cullen, I just saw Lisa there. and O'Brien. That I think is Group 2, who are about to lap Cullen. That will be him, possibly right up the end. Let's have a look. Too far away, I think, to see at this stage. Mayhew, Smith, Eartham, Lisa, O'Brien, Ketley, all in this group. They are gaining rapidly on Cullen. And this is O'Brien right up the front. I don't think he's deliberately tried to pull away. I think that was just perhaps a little bit of extra effort. Often quite hard to judge on Zwift. Or is he is pushing the power. He's a good rider. He's certainly capable of beating the riders behind him, and I've seen him do that many times. And just a quick aerial shot. Now the group is coming back to him, and that is Cullen just being caught and lapped. I think that's Cenotaph. They just went past. I just caught it out the corner of my eye. Looks like it. With Lisa now. Been a little bit off form recently, but hopefully she's riding well today. And just as a reminder, Lance is in this group as well. In fact, there are a couple of riders beginning to push off the front. This could be interesting. And here they are. So they've gained 1 second already, and looking behind, they are pulling away from that group. Let's just watch them for a second or two. That's with Lisa, that's the gap. As the riders approach the 180-degree turn, then come back through the Flamme Rouge. They perhaps see this as an opportunity. No one's going after them. I'm just behind Lisa, Pivota, Ketley, Khalid. At 20.9 kilometres and 28 minutes into the race, so about 18k, 18k left. Unfortunately, the distances on the Zwift Companion app and those elsewhere don't necessarily always add up quite exactly, but nonetheless, it will be within 100 or 200 metres or 38.4 kilometres, I've no doubt. So Mayhew Smith is doing well. Stick with this group. Normally expect him to be a little bit further up, but has recovered well from Monday night's performance, which is nice to see. Stiverton was another rider that didn't ride so well on Monday night. No great surprise. All of these riders sitting around 3.2, 3.3 watts per kilo. In fact, there's O'Brien, just went up to 5. Heckley's one to watch in this group for the sprint. He has a good sprinting ability. Not so sure he can out-sprint Lancia though. But as Lancia's dropped back through the B field, from that front group to this group, which is I think now still Group 2, he might not be on form this evening. And here are the riders approaching the finish line, and they are now, oh, Blackham has dropped off. I was just going to say they are 1 minute behind the leading group, but they aren't. They're 1 minute behind Blackham, who is no longer with that leading, 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 group. Maybe the pace was just a little bit too high for him. In fact, he's down to 21 watts there for a moment. Heart rate's still up. I've seen much higher heart rates from him, so he's still pushing. I think he's probably just lost the wheel. Up there was 480 watts. Unlikely he's going to catch with the group ahead though. And that group ahead, here is Campbell towards the back of the group. This is group 1. And Campbell looks to be under a little bit of stress. Dane's just ahead of him. And was that Empson I saw? Yes, Empson looks to be drifting off the back all of a sudden. And there he goes. And he's lost the wheel, he's lost the group. This is unfortunate. The pace has been very high though. I expect further casualties from this group. As I said earlier, I think Empson was 45th, I think, on Monday night. Those other 4 riders are ahead of him. So yes, he is most definitely lost that group. And there is Charles, is the next rider ahead of him. Charles, Campbell, Davis and Gaines. Tom is still in there. It seems to be, at this stage, Empson was the only one that's dropped off the group. 25.5 kilometres, 32 minutes in. And they're going to come up to the little ramp, just up towards Trafalgar Square, and this reaches 6%. Let's have a quick look and see if any riders make a bit of a push here. It's a good opportunity, someone's going for it. Let's have a look and see. There we are, up to 10 watts per kilo for this rider. A short, hard push, not an attack really, but I think just testing the other riders around, and they've just lapped Jones and Morton. Yeah, this is the first rider in the race, and Charles is still in there at 4 watts per kilo. Doing exceptionally well. At this rate, he will get promoted into Cat A. And they're just about to go around the 180-degree bend once more, and back under the Flamme Rouge. This is lap 3, coming up towards the end of lap 3. About to start the 4th lap in 1 kilometre. So there will be 3 laps left when they cross the finish line. And there we are, under the Flamme Rouge. Charles holding 3rd position. Doesn't want to be on the front. There are still a lot of Cat A riders around him, and some of these riders are very strong. Best approach now is conserve as much energy as possible. Hang in there. Davis, James, move a little bit further back. Can't see any other riders further back at this stage. Maybe Smith, Civita, Philippe, Lancia, all together. Keckley in there as well. O'Brien. They are all moving around fairly quickly. just try to click on one. I just want to see where Empson is. There is Blackham. In isolation, obviously, as he approaches the Flamme Rouge. Still no sign of Empson at this stage, but I'm sure he is there. There's Hindley, in fact. So am I reading this correctly? Is Hindley ahead of Group 2? Hard to tell at this stage. 26.2 kilometres he is at. There's Brown at 25.9. He's 26 now. Most of the Hindley is in fact behind this group, as is Brown. Still trying to locate Empson. There is Empson, 28.3. Just wanted to check where he was, really. And the small group of riders he could see ahead, that is Morton and Jones, Rob Jones and Telford. So Morton, Jones and Telford in category D are all still together. That's nice to see. And here they are. And there we are with Jones at 190 watts, it was now 170. Another one of the 180 degree turn. Corners are a feature of this course, and I think was it 3 years ago when the women raced the same course in the rain? There must have been 10 or more crashes on this surface. So it says there on the screen, not very helpfully, that Campbell's in that group as well based on time, but I know he's not. Oh, in fact, is he? No, it can't be. In fact, he can be, but he is one lap ahead. So I think that's what it looks like. So he has dropped off the pace and is now riding with the Cat D riders, but he is at 29.6 kilometres, whereas the Cat D riders are at 24.3. So Campbell is one lap further ahead. Something has gone wrong with his race. So let's find out. There's Camden on the way past and Peter Jones. Let's see what's going on up at the front then. This group has definitely thinned out a little bit. Trying to click on a BCC rider. There we are, Tom. Fifth position, 182 riders. Charles is up the front as well. Davis is in there, 31.2 kilometres. And here is the little hill once again, coming up towards Trafalgar Square. This is certainly turning out to be a very interesting race. Charles is still hanging in there. That's great to see. So at the moment, who might win? Tom, Charles. Can't see Davis at the moment, but I'm pretty convinced he's in there. Tom is most definitely capable of beating all of these other BCC riders. James is, I don't think he'll beat Tom, but it's anything can happen. It is coming down now to a case of how much energy do these riders have left. Davis is always very, very tactical. A very experienced racer. He certainly won't be wasting any energy at all. But the riders, as they turn left and then under Admiralty Arch and up towards the finish line, that will be the last lap of this 6-lap 38.4 kilometre race. No one behind this group, at least not close by. No, all clear. So I will try not lose these riders, but a quick look further back, Mayhew Smith. No, he's trying to make a break from this group. And Mayhew Smith, Blackham. Empson is still ahead of them, but is coming back towards them. Sipiter still here, Lisa and Sipiter still in this group, O'Brien as well, Heckley. Khalid sitting at the back of this group. Not a bad place to be. Hindley is now a minute further back, along with Brown at 31 kilometres. And again, this small ramp, look at the way the group just stretches out very quickly. And who has suffered on this little climb? Tamsin at 28 kilometres. I'm just going to try and find the front of the course now, because this looks as if it's going to come down to a sprint finish, so I will stay with these riders until the end. So in contention, Davis, Charles, Tom, Gaines. One rider's just fallen off the back, not sure who that is. Where is Charles? No, Charles is still there, right in the middle. The riders are moving back and forward, rotating around. It's going to be a sprint finish. Unless someone's feeling exceptionally strong, there's absolutely no chance of a break winning from this point. Small group might do it, 3 riders perhaps. 3 kilometres to go. It is going to be difficult to pick a rider to follow to the finish, but I'll do the best that I can. Charles and James are next to each other. Davis and Tom are just slightly further ahead in the group. In fact, the riders are just rotating around quite quickly. The group is beginning to stretch out a little bit though. And I wouldn't want to be at the back of that group. Somewhere in the middle would be ideal. And here we come for the climb one more time. Let's see what happens. Davis is towards the back now. Is anyone going to make one last push up here? And here we go. Lots of wattage coming out. Look at this, 11-12 watts per kilo from some of the riders. Charles at 9.2, Tom at 7.6. Has it changed the order? That's what we really want to know. Davis still sitting at the back. Has he lost it? And there is a little bit of a gap forming. I don't think he'll lose it. Although he is at 406 watts, 180 beats per minute. That is close to his maximum. He's just overtaken Cullen again. Looks as if Davis has popped. Only one, just over 1 kilometre to the finish, and he's gone. He's definitely not going to catch these guys now. So it is coming down to James, Charles, Tom. If I can find them now. There is Charles, the ride of his life. This is a great performance from him. The others, Tom and James, I sort of expect to be up the front. Charles has been getting stronger and stronger. Has been moving up the field. Much more experienced at racing now. That is a slower group in front. This is the front of the race. Let's see what happens. Can't see Tom or James. James is ahead. And the finish line is going to come into sight any second now. There it is. Looking ahead. Riders have gone off the front already. Charles at 7.4 watts per kilo. See if I can find James, 4.7. Where is Tom? I can't see Tom. There he is. He is leading for BCC, so it looks like Tom at 8.4 watts per kilo. Has he got any more? And he crosses the finish line first for BCC. Looks as if Charles crosses ahead of James. That is a fantastic performance for him. Well done. I'll quickly move back in the field. Nope, lost them. Just go back to me and then try and find the next rider, Shannon. This is where it becomes difficult to find the next group. Empton 37.1, Campbell 37.2, right. This looks like the next group up. So Campbell was with that leading group for 95% of the race. At least he stopped riding with Cullen. That wouldn't do his reputation much good at all. and Campbell has gone backwards now towards Blackham, Mayhew, Smith. In fact, that is then just behind him. As he goes round the corner and under the Flamme Rouge, there is a chance that they can catch up. They're in a much bigger group if they work together. Lancey's in there as well now. Can Campbell hold on? There's Empson leading that charge. Hopefully he'll keep riding all the way to the finish. And there is the group behind have now caught. Yes, they have. They've caught Lancier. So Lancier has now caught Campbell and Epson in there as well. Blackham, Mayhew, Smith. This is turning out to be a very interesting finish for this group. Even though Lancier dropped all the way back, I suspect he's still got a good sprint in him. Let's focus on Lancier for the moment. Davis, I'm assuming, has already crossed the line, but Lisa is Civita here as well. Where is Ketley? Civita's there. Campbell, Lancier, 11 watts per kilo. Is it going to be Lancier? It could well be. Looks like it. Blackham's coming on. Blackham's charging hard though, and it looks as if it was Lancier. Next group coming up, Brown, 37.6 kilometres. Just coming onto the Flamme Rouge now, 1 kilometre to go. And they won't quite catch the Category D BCC riders in front of them, but they're not far behind. Well, maybe, just by the work it out in my head, the second time they will have lapped them. So Brian Hindley's in this group as well. There is Hindley towards the back, Brown's roughly in the middle. And the sprint is on. Riders up to 11. Brown's pushing out the power now, 9 watts per kilo. Where is Hindley? It's going to be Brown. And it looks as if it is. In fact, Brown pushing ahead there. And there's Hindley crossing, just a few seconds behind. A quick look at Cat D. Jones, Morton, Telford I've lost. 33 kilometres. There must be some other riders further up the field. In fact, there is Telford. 33.5 kilometres. So he is ahead of Jones and Morton. About 30 seconds behind Peter Jones though, who is 1 minute 20 behind Tamsin. There is Cullen on a different lap entirely. Pushing out some good power there. Definitely warmed up now. Heartbeat is up. It's a good effort from Cullen. 3.7 watts per kilo. That's a hard push. Quite a low cadence. That's a great first performance, first race on Zwift. There is Shannon now, as a rider I wanted to catch on screen. He's just disappeared now. I'll try and find Shannon again. Somewhere here. Here we are, Nixon and Shannon. Great race from Nixon. Taft's in there as well. Looks as if Taft's the one that's going to... Is he going to get the finish? Shannon's going for it. Taft's still ahead. And it is Taft, I think, that crosses the line ahead of Shannon. Jury would expected him to be much further up the field, but crosses the line nonetheless. There's some very interesting racing tonight. Not the sort of results I might have expected. Groups mixed up. Some excellent performances. Rider of the night must be Charles. Some surprise dropouts, if you can call it that. Davis couldn't quite hang on. Looks to be a good ride from Telford in the D's. 50 seconds ahead of Morton and Jones. I think Tamsin is now the furthest rider ahead for BCC. And we won't watch all of the riders coming in, but a quick summary now, just check where they all are. Moving back through the field. Unfortunately, I can't capture you all crossing the finish line. It's quite difficult to move from one rider to the next as the finish approaches. But there we have Tamsin at 4.1 watts per kilo and 36.7 kilometres. Jones at 36.1 kilometres in 57 minutes. Looks like a great performance here from Telford. There he is. Now 33 seconds ahead of Jones, who's riding well against Morton at 35.3 kilometres. And we'll finish off tonight's coverage and live stream with Cullen at 31.8 kilometres, so he has another lap to complete, but he's doing exceptionally well for his first race, so well done to him. The next race in the series, race 3, will be on Monday evening, and there is, I'm sure, a time trial between now and then for you all to enter if you want to. So thank you all for watching. See you all on Monday.